Okay, class, we're changing up a little bit today. Figured I'd try something different, go outside. My family's inside the house. There's no real space for me to go to be kind of alone, but also this gives me a chance to stand up, move around, feel free, not so confined to a chair. We're going to continue with our series on Proverbs. We finished last week Proverbs chapter 5. This week we're going to go to Proverbs chapter 6. We're going to start chapter 6, verse 1. My son, if thou be surety for thy friend. We start off again, my son, right? We think about our parents trying to talk to their kids, trying to convince their kids, not just convince, but right, to get them to understand that, hey, listen, I have some experience, I have something that you need to listen to. My son, if thou be surety for thy friend, if thou hast stricken thy hand with a stranger, thou art snared with the words of thy mouth, thou art taken with the words of thy mouth. Stricken thy hand with a stranger, you are taking out a loan, right? You're getting a loan for something from somebody else. Or if you have co-signed for a friend, that's also what they're talking about right here. Verse 3, do this now, my son, deliver thyself when thou art come into the hand of thy friend. Go humble thyself and make sure thy friend. Give not sleep to thine eyes, nor slumber to thine eyelids. Deliver thyself as a roe from the hand of the hunter, and as a bird from the hand of the fowler. So if you have done this, if you have, let's say, co-signed for a friend, go and and get yourself out of that debt as quickly as possible. That would be the best advice. That's exactly what it's saying right here. Let's go on to verse number 6. Go to the ant, thou sluggard. Consider her ways and be wise. When I used to work at the Capitol. I was a security guard at the Capitol for the House of Representatives. When I would sit at my table for hours and hours and hours while I watched over the gallery, I would read my Bible sometimes. And there was a guy there that he was a Catholic, I believe, and this was his favorite verse. And I just don't understand why this was his favorite verse. And the older I've gotten, the more I've realized that not a lot of people like to work. And so that's why I realized that this was his favorite verse. So, go to the ant, thou sluggard, consider her ways and be wise, which, having no guide, overseer, or ruler, provideth her meat in the summer and gathereth her food in the harvest. Right? The ants. They don't have anyone that's leading them, that's standing over them, that's prodding them to do what's right. But yet they do it. And that is what... Sorry, I got distracted there. So that's what it's talking about here. And that provided her meat in the summer and gathered her food in the harvest. The ants, they do what they're supposed to do, and they don't have anyone over them all the time telling them what to do and how to do it. But a lot of times that's what we need, right? Verse 9. How long wilt thou sleep, O sluggard? When wilt thou arise out of thy sleep? Yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep. So shall thy poverty come as one that traveleth, and thy want as an armored man. So the more we sleep, the more we just lay in bed, lay around, be lazy, the more we're going to want, the more we're going to become into poverty, the more we're not going to have things. If you work, you shall eat, right? That is a biblical principle that I think we all understand. But in today's world, it's so easy to say, oh, well, we can find other ways. We don't have to work. That's not a biblical principle. And you'll find out more as we go on through the Proverbs that is something that is taught over and over and over again. Okay, moving on. Verse 12. A wicked man walketh with a froward mouth. He winketh with his eyes, he speaketh with his feet, he teacheth with his fingers. Now again, I'm from the 90s. I was born in the 80s, grew up in the 90s, and all the time gang members would use their hands to show. I probably said something right there in what I did, but they speak with their hands, right? They speak with their eyes. They speak with their feet. Very deceiving, right? They'll look over here while I do over here. That is a naughty person. That's a wicked man. That's what they do. Verse 14, forwardness is in his heart. He deviseth mischief continually. He soweth discord. Right? The person this naughty person, this wicked man who winketh with his eyes, he speaketh with his feet, and teacheth with his fingers. Right? Nowhere is he talking with his heart. Nowhere is he using his mouth. Right? Forwardness is in his heart. So that's where his heart is, which again is like a wickedness. Verse 15, therefore shall his calamity come suddenly. Suddenly shall he be broken without remedy. Right? The world will fall apart on this man. And it will come fast, and there will be no remedy for it. How many times somebody lost a job and then they got in a car accident and their wife left, all the things that happen all happen at once? Yeah, there's probably a little more happening in that person's life. And that's the same thing that happened to Job. That's what his friends and his wife was even talking about. These things don't happen to just random, to good people. People who commit sin and who live that kind of life, these bad things happen to them because of that. And obviously God was using Job as an example that the rain falleth on the just and the unjust alike, right? The world is sinful. And because the world is sinful, then good things happen to good people and bad people. And bad things happen to good people and bad people. But generally speaking, right, a person who has wickedness in their hearts, they're the ones that are going to be, that have all of these things happen. They have all of the tragedies happen suddenly and quickly. Verse 16. All right, now Solomon, through the Lord, is going to give some things that God hates. These 6 things that the Lord hate, yea, 7 are an abomination unto him. A proud look, a lying tongue, and hands that shed innocent blood, and heart that deviseth feet swift in running to mischief, a false witness that speaketh lies, and he that soweth discord among the brethren. So let's go. The first one, a proud look. What are we talking about? A proud look? Like someone who's confident in themselves, or someone who just thinks highly of themselves, right? I'm not a fan of social media in general, right? But a selfie, right? That you think so highly of yourself that you took a picture and you shared it to the world because you want likes, and yeah, that's a proud look, right? Someone who's trying to show off their family, their things, that right, and they're trying to make it look like it's something. A lying tongue. Deceiving is lying. Trying to teach my kids that. Deceiving your parents, right? Or deceiving someone to get ahead or to make it seem like something else. That's lying. It doesn't matter if you try to sugarcoat it or you try to make it sound like this, or it's still lying. Hands that shed innocent blood. Well, in today's world, right, the abortion, that is definitely shedding innocent blood. That baby didn't ask to be killed, didn't ask to be born, right? But people commit sin in having sex outside of wedlock, and then they don't like those decisions, so then they want to abort the baby because, well, I just can't do it right now. Or other people think, well, I can't do it because I don't have enough money. I'm here to tell you, you're never going to have enough money. You're never going to be ready enough to have a kid. But I tell you one thing, having a married partner, a spouse, is so much easier. It's still difficult. Raising children is still difficult, but having a spouse makes it easier. I don't know how single people do it. It's a difficult task with 2 people who generally agree on things to raise children. It's just that difficult. All right. A heart that deviseth wicked imaginations. Right? What does your thought life look like? Not just what you're reading online, but what are you thinking about when you're doing those things? What are you imagining when you're sitting by yourself at night in bed alone? Is it wicked imaginations, or is it something godly? I know that's two extremes, but it really, when it comes down to it, it's one or the other. Number 5, running swiftly to mischief. Right, the person who's quick to, oh, what's going on over here, or quick to go cause mischief. 6, false witness that speaketh lies. Right, again, we're talking about the lying tongue. Well, why would you be a false witness? Why would you lie for somebody or lie to somebody? That just doesn't make sense. 7, he that soweth discord among the brethren. Spreading gossip in church or about God's people. Right? Are you in church? Oh, so and so. Did you hear about so and so? Did you? Don't do that. That's nothing good is going to come of that. If you hear something bad about somebody, then just say, "Oh, I'll pray for them." And that usually is a knock. Oh yeah, I'll pray for you. For me, I would rather say that I pray for you than to find out what kind of, oh, well, what did they do? Oh, what was that? Oh, yeah, no. Don't be a part of that. That there's nothing good coming of that. And God specifically says here that that's something that He hates. All right, moving on from that list. Verse 20, my son, thy father's commandments, and forsake not the law of thy mother. Bind them continually upon thy neck, or upon thy heart, and tie them about thy neck. When thou goest, it shall lead thee. When thou sleepest, it shall keep thee. And when thou awakest, it shall talk with thee. Right? The same. The father's commandment, the mother's law, right? We're supposed to keep those things about ourselves. Verse 23, for the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light, and reproofs of instruction are the way of life. I had a reference here. Let's see. Psalm 119, 105. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. Right? That's God's word should be our lamp. That's what the commandments come from. That's where everything comes from, God's word. Let's use that as our guide in life. There's so many tools here. There's so many examples for how we should live our life for God. Verse 24. Oh, let me go back to verse 23. For the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light, and reproofs of instruction are the way of life, to keep thee from the evil woman, from the flattery of the tongue of the strange woman. Right? That's the reason for all of these things. Right? So God's word you can use to keep you from the strange woman, who flatter with her words. 25. Lust not after her beauty in thine heart, neither let her take thee with her eyelids. First of all, guys, if you see an attractive lady, don't do a double take. Just don't. Trust me, it's not worth it. Right? You look back again, and now you start lusting after that thing. There's nothing good going to come of it. If it's if it's your spouse, right, it's a whole different story we're talking about. But not just strange women, not just random women, not women online. I urge you to not take that double look. Don't look again, and then just pray and ask God to help you to forget that out of your mind. Verse 26. For by means of a whorish woman a man is brought to a piece of bread, and the adulteress will hunt for the precious life. Right? The adulterous woman, the woman who wants to commit sin, is looking for that innocent person to take advantage of. That's exactly what she's looking for. Don't be that person. 27. Can a man take fire in his bosom and his clothes not be burned? Can one go upon hot coals and his feet not be burned? So he that goeth into his neighbor's wife, whoso toucheth her shall not be innocent. Men do not despise the thief if he steal to satisfy his soul when he is hungry, but if he be found, he shall restore sevenfold. He shall give all the substance of his house. Right? So if a man steals something because he's hungry, right? God says that's okay, but if he gets caught, he has to pay sevenfold, right? But whoso committeth adultery with a woman lacketh understanding. He that doeth it destroyeth his own soul. That's a bold statement there, right? If you commit adultery with a woman, you lack understanding. I don't know how else to describe it, right? But that's exactly what it's saying. And what are we talking about adultery? Are we talking about, we are talking about sex outside of marriage. And then specifically, this is going to talk about your neighbor's wife, right? So it's not even your girlfriend. You're not married to. No, it's somebody else's wife. That is something that will destroy your own soul. Verse 33, a wound and dishonor shall he get, and his reproach shall not be wiped away. For jealousy is the rage of a man, therefore he will not spare in the day of vengeance. He will not regard any ransom, neither will he rest content, though thou givest many gifts. So the man who commits adultery with his neighbor's wife, that husband, his vengeance will just be upon you. And he will not rest, right? Content. Even though you give him many gifts and you apologize and you say all these sorries, yeah, he's not going to let that go. That's the end of chapter 6.